I'm going to answer your question. You've been asking about this video. You've been sending this video to me, asking what I think about different parts of this video about teaching abroad. Problem with answering is I'm a native teacher, and our friend here is a non-native teacher. What would be a better way to do this? Instead of reviewing the video, I brought the guy here myself.
Hey.
All right, so we got Eddie with us.
Hello, my name is Sean Benefits on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere. I'm here with David.
What's up, man?
Cool.
So today we are gonna go over these questions that you guys have been asking about his video and what it's like to get a job in teaching and just life in Vietnam in general. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
What is required to teach in Vietnam?
Being a native speaker from Africa, for non-native speakers anywhere, you require a bachelor's degree that is related to English, and then you require a TEFL certificate or TESOL. You also require a C1 certificate to be qualified to teach English. To get a work permit, you're required to have background check, the police check. You also be required to have a medical checkup. But that one is done here in Vietnam.
As a native teacher, it's a lot easier. We just need a bachelor's degree. We also need a TEFL. Check the link below. This video, I'm giving 20% off the whole TEFL program. He kind of mentioned already, your medical, you want to do it in Vietnam. Don't do it at home. My experience is they weren't able to read it. They weren't sure. Our testing in America is very different than Vietnam.
Yeah. They won't even trust it.
Yeah.
But they trust their doctors more. And also there are particular hospitals that they will tell you to go to, like provincial hospitals. Like here in Quang Binh or in Hanoi, they'll give you like maybe 10 hospitals that you're supposed to go to. So you won't go to any hospital that you find.
Exactly.
So that's why they say like there are particular doctors that will tell you this doctor has to sign on it. Maybe your situation has blemishes. So
no, definitely. The police check, and another thing about that, if you live in Vietnam for 3 months, you can just do it here anyways. It runs you about 240,000 Vietnamese dong. Takes about 2 or 3 weeks to get it back. And the medical check, I paid like $250. About.
It depends. Sometimes it can go even up to 800,000 dong.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on where you are. And depends even if you're doing it directly or someone is doing it for you. Because if an agent is doing it for you, they will take 500 from you or something like that. Yeah.
They just walk around and sign it.
Yeah.
They're like, here, you pass.
Yeah.
So because they've changed the laws last year with the new president, there's only a 30-day visa now. You can't come out for 3 months. Have their credentials. Don't come out here. The teaching under the table, I don't know your experience, but my experience talking to a lot of people, you can't illegally teach here no more. The government's cracking down. Schools will get in a lot of trouble if they hire you without the correct documents. So if you don't have them, I would suggest go to Cambodia. You don't need a degree there. You just need a TEFL. But most of Asia, you do need to have that bachelor's degree to teach.
Yeah. What is expected from an English teacher in Vietnam? You are expected to be good, to be funny. What is most important in Vietnam is not your boss. It's the kids and the parents. And parents get reports from the kids. If the kids goes home and says, oh, Eddie is a very good teacher, they'll come and look for Eddie and say, oh, this guy is a very good teacher. Parents will call your boss and tell them, okay, this teacher is a very good teacher, even if they don't know you.
They seriously do call.
Yes. So it's about entertainment, like you're a clown in class. So you have to entertain the kids. And the other professional side of it is that you're not going to do so much work like in class. Just going to do simple vocabulary and some grammar, some part of grammar. But it's not like that very important English like you learn in America or you learn in Africa. No. It's just going to be some basic English, like teaching kids how to say food, how to say drinks, how to talk about their hobbies, and they study for exams.
When I was in China, we called it white monkey. You were literally you said clown. You're like a clown. So the thing about Vietnam education, they study for the test, and you're kind of a face to the school. Us being at an English center or a public school is a benefit, and the school advertises like you'll be all over billboards. Like, you have to come here. We have this American, we have this African, we have this Italian guy. What's actually expected when you do get into that door and get your foot in there and teach is you're really just focused on speaking and listening. Sometimes you do grammar, but usually the Vietnamese teachers focus on this themselves. Your job is to get them speaking and listening correctly. So when they take that IELTS exam, they can pass that part of it. The grammar and stuff and the vocabulary, learning new vocabulary, not speaking it, but learning new vocabulary, usually comes a lot from the Vietnamese side. Thailand, they had me teaching a lot of grammar, like a lot of like adverbs and adjectives and structures. None of that's in Vietnam.
Most important thing, make kids happy.
Yes.
Happy and happy and happy.
Yes. And if you don't know how to make them happy, I got a book I put together and I gave it to him and his friend.
Yeah.
It'll give you the activities and stuff that parents seriously love. You want them to go home and be like, Eddie, David, I love them. And then they're going to call the principal because that's who they do call. When they hear like, oh, this Eddie guy, he was so boring and he was, I don't know what he's saying. He's just boring. You're not going to have a job.
Yeah,
It's
that's
that
right.
simple.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
keep that in mind. Have fun, be entertaining, and you'll be A-okay. Training provided in Vietnam. So I've had 2 examples of experiences. So working at major education in Saigon District 3, we were provided 2 weeks of training where it was pretty much like an in-class TEFL program. You taught in front of other teachers, they gave you feedback, and they taught you what the school offers, what programs, what books they use, how to write lesson plans. It was honestly a really good training program. I wasn't expecting that out of Vietnam. Now, after that school, going to different schools, never once. They gave me a book like, here's your book, Eddie, good luck. And that was the training. So I think training for me as a Western person, it happened once and it just never happened again. What about you?
I think training is more of an interview here. Like they'll tell you, okay, you're going to have a training for 1 month, but the training will take 1 hour and then you won't see the trainer again. And they will take you to school or to the center to teach the kids, and then it will start being an interview. Like, they're saying, what are you doing? And then they start gauging you, evaluating you according to what you're doing. So it's more of an interview, not a training. You want better training, it's watching YouTube videos like here, like he said, read his books, watch YouTube videos, go and do research as much as you can yourself. Vietnam hires you when they really need you at that particular moment.
Yeah, they hire on the fly.
Yes, so if they're hiring you, they expect you to be a good teacher. They don't expect you to be trained by them. Even if they tell you they're going to offer you training, they're really not going to offer you professional training.
Exactly. We have an American phrase, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Really, just go in there, be happy, be energetic like this guy here, and just go in there, have fun. And again, if the kids go home, they're like, I loved Eddie, man. He's a great guy. You got a job. And you don't have any issues. But the moment that starts sliding downhill, that's when they, on the fly, hire a new teacher. And then you magically lose those hours.
Yeah, the first class that you're going to teach may be paid 50% or not paid at all, but that first class that you're going to teach matters. If
100%.
Kids are not happy in that first class, then you're risking the chances of getting hired. Vietnamese can hire you on the spot, but Vietnamese can even fire you with a contract. Even if you have a 2-year contract, they can fire you on the first day. So it doesn't matter you have a contract or you don't have a contract. You have to make sure that you make these people happy. Make kids happy.
I could have said it better myself.
Public versus private schools. So there is a bit of a difference, but there's not so much difference because, of course, of the system, what they want them to learn, what they want them to teach kids. But of course, when it comes to private schools, you expect more of a professional environment, people that understand what they're doing, people that speak English, perfect English, people that know grammar, vocabulary, people that know that you've made a mistake in English or you've spoken it perfectly. Public schools, you meet a principal that can't even say, how are you? A Vietnamese English teacher that can't sustain a conversation in 10 minutes in English. In private schools, more of international schools or privately owned by companies or by individuals. And then we have private English centers, the language centers, those language centers that are owned by individuals. Parents really want to get value out of the money because they pay a lot of money for their kids to study at the language centers. And the schools classes go for even up to 2 hours per class. So it is more effort on the language at the language centers. And the private schools, of course, they also expect more, you expect much. But in public schools, you go to a class of 45 minutes or 30 minutes and you're going to attend it once a week. And you're going to teach like 5 vocabularies and 1 part of the grammar. For example, you teach food, you teach pizza, and you teach, and then you ask them, what do you like to eat? And they'll say, I like pizza. And that's the lesson that you're going to teach. More of just making them happy or putting a mood in class. And when it comes to money, I think private schools and language centers pay higher than public schools.
So when you get to an English center, it's usually, like you said, more professional. The staff there can speak English. They can actually get things done. They usually have a hookup to get your work permit set up and situated like that. And the pay up front immediately is usually higher with better benefits. When it comes to public schools, these are, again, like government schools, the pay usually starts lower, but it gets higher over time. When I say over time, we're talking like 3 to 5 years. Most people don't stay in Vietnam that long as a teacher. I would almost say stay private unless you're going to an international school, like International of America, Canada, the UK, these require you to have usually a master's degree. You have to be a certified teacher in like America or Canada to even work these jobs. These pay $4,000 to $5,000 a month, which is insane in Vietnam. $4,000 to $5,000 a month?
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow. Start off at a private center, because you can apply directly on their websites. Get the training, because a lot of them will give you some type of introduction. Public schools never do. They throw you books and they expect you to be a professional, like he said earlier. One thing we missed was class times. When it comes to private schools, I personally would do between 45 minutes to 2.5 hours. I think it was kind of the time frame.
Yeah, that's it.
And and then when you get to public schools, primary is usually like 25 minutes.
25 to 45.
Yeah, and then secondary to high school is usually 45 to like 90 minutes.
Now, schools are on pressure because they want the kids to have a test before they go to the TED holiday. They want to show parents that kids have studied something. So they'll be pressurizing. They want you to teach very quickly. They want you to do a lot of things in this small time that is remaining. When it starts at the beginning of the year, everything is slow, like you can do anything. You can teach one unit twice and everything like that.
If you do get those 2.5 hour classes, I've only experienced that at major education in Saigon. I've never had a class over an hour and a half since then. I think that's like the standard.
1 hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, if you do get seriously a 2.5 hour class, good luck.
Salaries and benefits. You expect to be paid $8 per hour. I don't know why they accept that, because it goes back to your bargaining power. Like, what would you accept to be paid $8 if you're a professional? But it can go up to $25 for non-native, and then for native speakers, they can go even up to $50 per hour. Are you native or non-native? That is so important. Then secondly, are you professional? Thirdly, are you good in class? Do you have the skills? Are you showing that you're good in class? And also your bargaining power. Like, can you bargain? Do you really trust yourself? Do you value yourself? Like, can you work for $10? Or you say, no, I can't work for $10. I want $15 or $120. But then when it comes to benefits, some centers will give you accommodation or will give you 50% of accommodation. You expect free Wi-Fi. Sometimes you expect free food. For me that works in public schools, I'll be offered a motorbike, and then the motorbike will be fuel. They'll give me gas.
So I think with me, the salary for a Western or a native speaker can range from, I'm really with him on the bargaining. So, because I've seen Western people make $25 million a month, which is like, go back home, go back to your country, work at McDonald's. But it can range from 30 to like, on average, 30 to 60 million, depending what you do. As a native person, we have the ability to teach English, which is a plus. But we also can teach science, STEM program, math, biology, chemistry. EMG actually does a lot of this. As somebody that has an engineering degree, I was able to get EMG, and I was a STEM teacher. So my pay was a lot more. The benefits that I got was free transportation. We had free lunch. When I worked at Major, they paid 30% of my rent every month, so they gave me like $120.
They pay 50% of my rent right now.
So this guy got a good deal. You get a health insurance card? I don't know if you ever got that.
They always tell me that I have health insurance, but when I get sick,
nobody takes it. You have to go to one of these grimy hospitals that you'll probably get sicker when you go in there. And then the work permit, it depends on the school. Some of them will actually pay for the process of getting it, but they won't pay for the paperwork that you need.
Some centers will do that 100%. Depends on the company. There's some companies that have found out that they did that 100% for a person, or some of them will do 80% and some will do 50%. They always write support. Like they say, we support you with work permit and TRC. So when they say support, it means maybe they're going to give you documents or they're going to give you 100%. Some of them will give you 50%, and also it will depend on the immigration system right then. The immigrations will be like so hard on them, and they're like, okay, we want more money, or this is this and this and this, and then they have to go through the corners and they'll pay a high amount. So they will tell you, no, we're going to pay for you 20%. So sometimes it depends on the situations.
Don't be afraid to ask. They will tell you, usually when you have the interview, the line stops. Like they're like, oh yeah, we don't pay for that shit. Even though it said on Facebook, they're like, oh, we don't pay for that. Is Vietnam racist? We'll come back to that. How about we go to the next one? Finding a job in Vietnam. Everybody's on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Job placements on Facebook, communications on Facebook.
Even Chinese are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Illegally.
Yeah, illegally. So finding your jobs, there's really 3 ways that I've always found it. Facebook is the massive one. 2 is just finding agents. And the last one is just direct, going to vus.vn, going to ila.vn.
Yeah, Facebook is the best way. I got my job on Facebook, my first job on Facebook. So it is the way to go. Join Facebook groups, search for Vietnamese English teaching jobs, working in Vietnam, teaching in Saigon, Hanoi, and those big cities. So search for people. You see job postings almost every single day, or even sometimes every hour. People are posting jobs there. Zalo is the most used messenger app in Vietnam. It's called Zalo. Even if you don't have a Vietnamese number, you can join Zalo in your country. I've seen people that have done it. It's the quickest way you're going to communicate with a Vietnamese employer. Like even sometimes you send them document, the emails, they don't open them. But when you send them a Zalo message, quickly they'll open it and they'll tell you, send me the document, send me your video, and they're going to hire you.
And it also has an English option too, so it's not in Vietnamese. Like you can change it to English, but it's a WeChat. You can actually play with Vietnam Bank is actually on Zalo. You can do shopping. Lazada takes payments directly through, so it is a WeChat. Everything is on there. I would be careful about putting your credit card on there, but everything is on there. Is Vietnam racist? What do you think?
I wouldn't put it there like that Vietnam is racist, but I would say they are sensitive in a way, in some ways. I've lived in Vietnam for close to 4 years now, since 2019. Vietnam is better compared to their neighbors, like China, Thailand, and the other neighbors around here. You'd say that living in Vietnam, they won't make you feel like you're black. I've been to countries where sitting here in the park and recording a video, you find people around you standing behind you and looking at you, you're black and whatever. But you can see people moving around, they're walking around, and they don't care what we're doing here. And they're seeing a black guy here talking to the camera. Here in Vietnam, you won't feel like that you're black. They're sensitive in a way that maybe they're ignorant about African black people as a world. They don't see black people quite often like you see them in your countries, like you know people are black. So they don't know anything about African. Like sometimes when they meet you, they won't ask you, where are you from? No, because they think every black person comes from Africa. So they just ask you, Angola, Kenya, Nigeria. That's how they'll ask you where you're from. But when they meet a white person like him, they'll ask him, America? Or Canada. So that's how ignorant they are. It's not just about being racist. It's just a thing that they really want to know.
On the native side, I don't think Vietnam really the race. I've never seen anybody. I knew people that worked at EMG. He's a black guy, he made more than me. He was actually my boss.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he got treated fair. I think there is a stereotype. So if you had a bunch of people standing around, regardless of color, the moment somebody says I'm whoever from America, everybody gets excited. There is that edge that we have as Americans because of the history. And like you said before, they don't really know a lot. There's not really a history with many countries around the world, except pretty much like the UK and America. So that is kind of a primary. Vietnam being racist, I have to agree. Going around most of Asia, Vietnam is the least, it's just more of an ignorance, like you said. They just don't have the history with it.
Vietnamese really love their country. So they always want to make any person as comfortable as possible in their country, so that when you get out, you say Vietnam is a good country, or you talk good things about the country. So that is also a plus for the country. Like the citizens, they always want to make you feel comfortable as much as they can.
Exactly. So if you're coming out here to get a job, regardless what color, creed you're from, it really comes down to, are you a native or not? Even having 2 white people, an American native and having a French non-native, I will always get the job more and paid more. And it's not the skin color, it's the country legal system. When you come here, just bring your A game, have your CV, have your paperwork, your documents, and just talk a big game. Like he said earlier, how much you worth? Bring that bargaining game. So I think that does it today, man. We answered the questions you guys have been asking. Check out his channel below. He does a lot of Vietnam videos about teaching as a non-native. I think they're super useful. You guys kept sending that video, and I got stuck in a rabbit hole going through his videos. They're really good. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for me coming out here to see you. All right, guys. So thanks for watching.
See you.
I will see you again.